Hello and welcome to ADHD Reveals podcast. This is the first one of 2026 with me, Claire.
And me, Laura.
So today we're going to check in with each other and see how Christmas has been. It's the first week of January. It's very cold. We're sitting outside
in the snow.
Yeah, it is actually snow, which is quite unusual.
Yeah.
So how was your Christmas?
Okay, so how did ADHD show up for us around the Christmas period? So for me, I found I was more exhausted with the masking because I found there was a lot of socializing around this time of year with different groups of people. And as nice as it is, for me, it's such a double-edged sword because I like socializing, I like seeing people, but it's that different groups of people get together that normally don't. And the masking and the energy, and it's not just the physical energy, it's the mental energy. And it's that, what do I say? What do I not say? And people seem to be talking about nothing. And I'm there going, I don't know really what to say.
I don't have a script for this.
I don't know how to get into this conversation. I'm just going to sit here and smile, but I don't know what's going on. And I feel what I would say would be maybe inappropriate or kind of, because I find I don't know if this is an ADHD thing, but I always look for deeper things. I look for meaning. I look for, in a conversation, something of like, oh, what are we talking about? Let's kind of go a bit deeper. Let's really talk about what matters. And I find a lot of people are just very superficial. So I have to mask on smiling over things where I think, I kind of want to talk about something a bit more.
I also find people a bit more manic as well. Like the energy levels are way higher. And you're not going to get a meaningful conversation, are you? Because it's all like, let's all party. This. And so, it's different energy levels. Like you say, it's the mental strain. You can get through it, but then it's after like, I'm exhausted. I've got to go to work the next day. And then I've got to go out in the evening. I don't know how I'm going to do it because suddenly my social calendar has like doubled, tripled what it would normally be. So it's quite a big ask.
So that's how ADHD has shown up for you this.
Yeah, just loads more events. Work has been really busy. Everything kind of culminated and was busy all at the same time. Like even with Christmas, I hadn't been happy. I'd still have had loads more on my plate. But just a lot more mix with people. And interesting you say about different groups of people because sometimes I find a lot of my friendship groups are based around my interests. And at Christmas, you get a mixture of different people from different interests. It's like, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. It just feels quite strange. And I guess some people, it wouldn't really bother them, but I find I have to think a lot more about communication. So more social events, as I say, mixing with different groups of people. I mean, one of the things I found helped is I went out for a work event, about 20 of us. And one of the things I find difficult in restaurants is lots of different conversations are going on. So I find it quite overwhelming because my ADHD brain's like, I need to just everything at the same time. And then someone's asking a question, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to say because I was too busy listening to somebody else. So one of the things I found, we had the menus beforehand and I actually chose what I wanted beforehand. And because I find it quite difficult, it's a group of people all faffing about what to eat. It just, for me, it just is so overwhelming. It's one of those things that I find quite difficult to deal with. So I was like, I know exactly what I'm having. So I haven't got to worry about going to the restaurant, having a brain freeze and going, and I've got to choose what to eat. So that's just a really simple thing, but I did find it helped.
I find, there's a lot of decision making around this time of year. And I find by the middle of December, I'm fed up with decisions. I just think I don't want to make a decision. I'm just absolutely decisioned out. Yeah. I've made, but then it gets nearer and it's like, well, what are we doing this? What about, and I'm just like, I don't know. Can someone else make a choice? Because it's always down to me, I find. It's down to, well, what are we doing? It's like, but can someone else maybe plan something or do something? Because I just find I'm in decision overload. And my brain, because like we were talking earlier, that our brains are more like quantum computers, where a normal brain would just think of, go to one thing, then come back and then go, well, our one thinks about what I find 50 different things at once.
All at the same time.
And when there's so many, and then you do that like 100 times a day. And by the end of the day, my brain's just burnt out from like, I can't think anymore.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the thing about ADHD is executive dysfunction, isn't it? We can want to do a thing so badly, but we just can't start it or figure out which thing to start first. And Christmas is just a massive several weeks long event of decision making, isn't it?
Yes. And then it's also the whole, well, this is tradition. This is what we have. There's so much going on in 1 month that I find I am peopled out. I'm decisioned out. And as well, I personally find the fact that it gets dark so early, like by 4:30, it's dark. So by 6 o'clock, I am ready for bed. I'm ready to be turned off from the world. I just want to, I've got my fleece stuff on and that is it. That's all I want to do. I just want to stay in. So if somebody says, oh, let's meet at 8 o'clock.
No, it's not happening.
I'm there like, what, in the evening? Either way, it's not working, but definitely not in the evening.
Like society now is all about, you keep powering through everything. But no, in winter, we should be powering down. We need to take that time to snuggle under the sheets, just
reset a little bit.
Reset, keep warm, stay indoors, eat the food you want to eat. We don't need to be setting ourselves massive goals. And I think that Christmas is in the middle of that. Or it's kind of, it's a huge amount of pressure. And like you say, that thing about, you've always done this. Yeah. And in my brain, I'm like, but I don't want to do the thing I've always done. I don't know if could be a bit pathological demand avoidance. Like being told it's Christmas Day, you must do this. It's just such a big turn off for me. It's like, but why do I have to do that then? And it just builds and builds, the pressure builds, I think.
Do you find
that something different?
Yeah, but
that suits me.
As you've grown older, I'm more confident in saying no.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would always just people please. I thought, okay, fine. Because sometimes I wouldn't know what to say instead of yes, because I think, well, I don't want the confrontation. If I say no, I know it's going to cause an issue. So it's just easier to say yes. But while I've gotten older and the whole ADHD thing, and the more I looked into it, it's like, no, it's as related because you just don't want that. Again, I think as women, we're more people pleasing.
Exactly. Your needs and my needs are important. And if we go along with what everyone else wants and does, they're fine with that. Well, some of them are. They're fine with that. But for us, it's like, does it really matter if we don't do the expected things? Will other people get upset? They might do. Sometimes they do. They don't understand it. That's fine. But we've pretty much spent a lifetime doing things the way we've been told. It doesn't work. So now it's time to say, actually, we don't have to eat that on Christmas Day. I don't have to do that on Christmas Day. Yeah. And do what you want to do, basically. If you like the traditions, then by all means, carry on. But a lot of us feel it's not working.
It's not. And I think it's that confidence to finally say the word no. But I do find, like we were saying earlier, that a lot of people, because you've done it for so long, they're almost thinking, well, we'll just say it and that person's going to do it because they always just fall in line.
Yeah,
and the second you say, actually, I don't want to do that, people get quite like, oh, what do you mean no?
Yeah.
But
you've always done that. You never did it before. And I guess we need to take ownership of that as well. It's nothing wrong with it. There's no right or wrong way. But I think we need to reflect on that and say, yeah, it is going to be difficult. Sometimes people are going to go and take offence and almost be ready for it. It's okay. Like, it's fine if people do think it's weird or you're doing something wrong, but you're not. It's fine.
Yeah.
But kind of almost expect that it will be tricky, certainly the first few times.
That awkwardness, isn't it? Where you're like, oh, I'm standing up for myself and this is weird because I've not done it.
Yeah. Why has it been so difficult? Why is the saying no to this every year?
Yeah.
And then, but with time, people will realise, or they won't.
It's just boundaries.
Whichever, but yeah.
It's just boundaries. But this is it when someone's so used to you not having boundaries and you finally saying, actually, I don't want to do that. But it's fine for you to say, no, I don't want, if you're just going, I really just, whatever reason, whatever that is, I don't want to do it. And you're saying that and someone else is offended. I don't think the problem lies at your end.
No,
the other person needs to maybe reflect and kind of go, oh, okay, well, it's just different now. But I think there's a level of expectation of, but I want you to do that because I'm used to you doing what I want to do.
Christmas is so pressured, and I feel that now it's January, that I do feel a lot of pressure is lifted off my shoulders, and you can kind of look back and think, gosh, that was a crazy time. But it doesn't need to be like this. And I guess we've only been a couple of years diagnosed. We're just trying to work out how to get through this period whereby we're enjoying it, people around us are enjoying it, and we're not absolutely exhausted. I mean, I still feel absolutely shattered. I know we were talking earlier about just tired all the time. And it's that, like I say, that mental strain of all those decisions you had to make. All those things that are out of the ordinary. Like, we're fine not having routine if it's something we've chosen. But when it's society telling you, oh, but on this day you want to do this, it's straining.
It is. And I think as well, let's be honest, let's say you've got 10 people. Every single one of those 10 people is going to have a different idea of what they want to do.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that that's all going to match up.
Yeah.
And I think people just have to be aware of, okay, sometimes it's not too bad to kind of go, okay, well, that's not going to take too much of my energy or mental health or whatever to do that. But if certain things where do you know, that is going to be a major trigger for me, and you to say no, I think that's where you draw the line of just being realistic of, everyone's going to have a different idea of what they want to do. But at the same time, you have to kind of be in that confidence to yourself of, no, that is definitely a red line of, I will not do that.
But also, sometimes you can say no, you can offer an alternative. Like, you say, I'm not going to see you on that day, but how about next Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
For instance. And, people might think, oh, that's great. I can understand that. They're saying no to that, but they are offering an alternative. So, yes, no is a complete sentence in some circumstances, but it also can be no, but how about this?
Yeah. It's like that awareness of yourself, isn't it? Of like, okay, am I, I do want to do this, or I do want to do something, but like we were talking earlier about,
but not with too many people.
Assume things as well. There's an assumption of, because recently, like I had a thing where something was assumed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't communicated to me that something was happening. It was just assumed it was happening.
Because it always had.
And then that caused an issue.
Yeah.
Because I have to have it specific on, right, we are meeting and we are doing this.
Yeah.
While other people might just not communicate that, but assume that's happening. Because that's not been communicated to me, I then will be like, oh, well, I didn't know that was happening because you didn't tell me. Yeah. But then the other person will actually get upset with me of like, oh, but I assumed we were doing that. And I think around this time of year, I don't know if anybody else has these kind of instances, but I struggle to navigate that because I would never want to upset someone intentionally. But at the same time, I am more confident in myself of, no, actually, you need to be, the communication just wasn't there.
So I think it's fair to say that you and I both really prefer explicit communication. And I've had similar where a friend has said, oh yeah, let's meet up. And I'm like, really looking forward to it. We're going out somewhere that we should. And I turn up and there's like another 10 people that I didn't know were coming. I don't know them. Some of them I might know. Some of them I might want to speak to. And I'm like, oh my God, that has completely changed the dynamic. It's caused me untold amount of stress. And it's so difficult because the other person was like, oh, that's fine. Look, the more people in there is great. And I'm just like, if I'd known, I could have prepared for that because that takes a lot more energy out of me.
Yes.
And I could have like maybe cleared my schedule either side of that event happening.
Or you could have gone, do you know what, that's just not
Or
for
I could
me.
have gone, no, it's not going to work.
That's
exactly. It's giving someone that choice. But the assumption that is made is quite a big one. And it makes me sad, to be honest, because I think if people were a bit more explicit and said, look, I'm inviting you, it's going to be 10 other people. That's a completely different thing. And it's actually sad because I think I get more out of having a conversation with a small group of people that is meaningful rather than a great group that I'm never going to see again.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I'm masking like hell. I'll get through it and I'll be sociable, but afterwards I am exhausted for a couple of days. And I just think it makes me sad.
Yeah, because I find with a big group as well, there's normally 3 or 4 conversations going.
Yeah.
And I struggle because I think, well, that one's quite interesting, but that one is as well. That one, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm then between the two. And then I'm there going, I don't really know what to say, but I'm kind of stuck between two. And then someone will start talking to me about their dog. And I'll be like, oh, that's nice, but now I've lost that conversation.
And I need to remember that fact, and I need to write it down quick. I need to put it in my notes on my phone. And like, hang on, I recognise that guy over there. I've seen him before. Does this like my cousin? I'm not sure.
And there's a light flickering over there that's really like stressing me out. There's a weird noise coming from over there. Yeah, and I just find in those scenarios, my brain is on such overload. Then I'm masking as well because I'm trying to be like, polite and nice, and I'm trying to listen. But I normally come away going, I have no idea what just happened. And I need to lie down for 3 days.
So we were talking a bit earlier about how it's something that I've read about or seen on social listening about bottom up versus top down processing.
Just explain that a bit more.
I say that the right way. So typicals tend to think top down, which basically means they make a lot of assumptions. They fill in, there's lots of gaps, but they just assume. And neurotypicals tend to think bottom up, which means looking at the details. So again, coming back to explicit communication, to us, it's really important that we know what someone has in mind or what they're thinking of or who they've invited. I'm not saying it's true for all neurotypicals, but for us, this particular thing is. Whereas a typical will just be like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, whatever happens. Oh, but I just thought, just assumed you would do that.
Yes.
So it's got a name, and it's quite interesting because I've always struggled with that, and I've always thought I'm being really difficult because I need to know details. But actually, I just have my brain works.
Yeah, you kind of just want to be, I think as well, because our brains are working on a different way.
Yeah.
You just want details of like, and as well, I think now I am more confident in saying no, or well, do I want to do that?
Well, I don't want to waste my brain on dealing with unexpected stuff that isn't fun. If you see what I mean? I'd rather have certain things in place, and then I can relax more and enjoy the evening and be more spontaneous and have those conversations. Whereas thinking, oh my God, that person's here and I never wanted to see him again and he's now been invited. Yeah, that's a massive thing. And like, what time can I exit this social event?
Yeah, this simulation. Just get me out here.
What's a suitable time I should get out? 5 minutes? I don't know. Is that rude? So yeah, but knowing, going back to say that, just choosing the menu, just make that is just one more thing off the list of things that my brain hasn't got to worry about. But it's like, hopefully it just makes it go a lot more smoothly.
Yes.
Because I do want to see people. I enjoy being people, but it has to be more
structured. Structured in, like today we said, right, we're going to go to a park, we're going to do this. And then at least I know what's going on. But to me, it's like turning up at the cinema and someone going, right, we're going to watch this film. And you're there going, well, I wasn't prepared for that. No. And I don't like that film. But then instead of you, it almost feels like the problem's on you where you're going, no, I'm just putting my boundaries in place. Somebody might be genuinely like, I don't care what film I see. I don't.
Exactly. Some people are fine with that. And that's so something. And some people are absolutely fine with like the plans changing and they just like, they can't understand that other people would find that difficult. And also, like, I'm actually fine doing things on my own. A lot of people say, oh, but you can't do that. I'll come with you. And I'm like, do you know what? I don't actually want you to come with me. I'm actually okay on my own.
Yeah.
But some people that would be awful. It would be the worst thing ever to be on their own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know what? There's lots of things I want to do with other people, but I have to be realistic. People work, they have family, they've got other commitments. I can't always marry up my free time with them. So it's a case of like, do I do the thing on my own or do I not do it at all?
Yeah, and I'd rather just do it.
I'd rather just do it.
But I find being on my own because, like, I remember once, friend's husband, he would go to cinema by himself. And another film was like, oh, like genuinely like as if he just killed a baby or something, like so shocked, like, oh my God, how could you do that? Like, that is outrageous.
That's like sociopathic or something, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, well, but no one wanted to go see the film, so he just went by himself. Yeah. Like, I don't see a problem with that. But this other person, and this is what it just shows you of like, oh my God, but how can you do that? That is, and it just genuinely was, her mind was blown that someone would go to the cinema on their own, but they're so used to, I must have company in doing anything.
So it sounds like they'd rather be with someone else, even doing activities they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So for them, it's the fact that they're with another person.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's the subjects.
Yeah.
It's the activity.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, where you're kind of like, well, I really want to, for example, go down to Brighton for the day. And if no one wants to come with me, I'm quite happy. Oh, I'll just go because I want to do that. That sounds like a good activity.
Do you think that's why we have, community, we have a lot of special interest groups. Like I have friends in groups that I know because we all share similar interests about a particular thing. And I think that might explain it.
But a lot of, I think, neurotypical are looking at the deeper meaning of things. And it's that thing of like, I love space. I love anything to do with space, science fiction and that kind of thing. But when you look into that community, there are a lot of autistic and that kind of people in that community. So you think, well, the brain just goes to a certain place. Of,
individuals don't have that deep interest in things. They're
very superficial. It's like, they like a lot of different things, but not they can't kind of maybe say a reason. It's just like, well, I like that because I've always liked that.
Yeah.
Or I grew up liking that, but I don't know why I like it because it was just something I do. But I find a lot of neurotypicals are very deep. They can give very deep meaning.
Typicals or divergence?
Divergence. That's it, divergence.
Thank you. Spices.
That's what I mean. My brain's got into
spices.
Like, wait, I mean that. No, I actually mean that. Thank you for that. Yeah. So the divergence are very deep in thinking.
And that's why we get these deep special interests in areas that we're just like geeking about, you know?
Yeah. I love my geekiness. I love it.
I mean, when I look at it, my friendship groups are based around in special interests. And like I say, you might not get much crossover sometimes. It's like, well, that group mixes that group. I'm not sure that's why it can cause a bit of anxiety, I feel, because it's like, well, that part of me is really into that. I'm also into that.
That's why at Christmas, when everything like this time of year, everything seems to collide.
We're all supposed to hit together, sit in a room, it's really hot, eat the same food, talk to people that we haven't seen all year, don't have our interests. That is quite a problem.
I think this is it. When you're forced to be with people who you're going, I don't normally would spend time with you, and not in an unkind way. It's just a case of you just have nothing in common,
or not for hours at a time anyway.
No,
you might see them at work, but you wouldn't necessarily sit in a room with them for 10 hours.
No. And for like,
Easy.
maybe as well for 3 days. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's situation is different, but I think that's, you know, anyone can relate to this time of year. You would normally do something out of the ordinary. You're like, this just is out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's that coping of recognizing it, of this is fine. And I think I have come a long way now looking back at, I'm recognizing more of, you know what, this is fine. This is a bit weird. This is a bit different. This is certain aspects I don't want to do, but it's finding that line of, right, okay, that I can cope with. That is a definite no.
Yeah.
And it's recognizing that and just going, yeah, I'm going to stick to it as well. Because I think in the past, I would just go, oh, I'm just going to do it because it's going to cause more problems.
I can't be seen to be the difficult one.
Yeah, you're the difficult one. Instead of going, well, actually, because of that person's behaviour, that's the reason I don't want to go.
And also, if I
would
would speak out in a group of friends and the other friend might, but actually, that doesn't work for me. I don't really like doing that either. And you find out that other people, typicals and divergence, like, actually, it doesn't work for me either.
No,
so you can be the one that can say that. I mean, I don't really mind. People think, you know, you might find out that you're not the only one.
Yeah, but I think people just go along with it and don't say it. It's only that one person that's like, oh, actually, why are we doing this? And maybe 10 people go, actually, I don't want to do it either. Let's do something else. But you're so used to that kind of, every year we do this. Like, let's just say a group of people, oh, we've always gone to that pub, or we've always done this. Or, you know, you'll find like, but you don't always want to do that.
No.
And it's, so my self-esteem and boundaries are improving year on year as I'm getting older.
As you understand yourself better and your ADHD and how you function better.
And advocating for myself, because I always find when I'm, you know, we're going to do another podcast on justice where I think that could be a 10-hour.
Oh my God, where do we start?
And I think that it just triggers me of the injustice of certain things going on.
Yeah.
And there's just so many layers to Christmas for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, this, you know, and that's why it's just like, I'm getting better on boundaries, recognizing that, and just kind of, just saying no and going, hey, John, this is a special time for me as well, not just always fitting in with what everyone else wants to do. So, we've now come towards the end of our little podcast today, and we're going to talk about the no shame zone. And for me, I feel I'm better at recognizing and understanding my boundaries, where previously I would be like, oh, I'm just going to do it. Well, now I'm more better at going, no, I don't want to do that. And actually communicating the reasons. Well, I think when I was younger, I would just be like, oh, I just don't want to do that, because I find my brain would have so much going on it. I'd struggle to put words to it. And sometimes it wouldn't be a 1 or 2 minute conversation. It could be like a 10-minute thing of, well, actually it's this, and then that's impacted that, and then that happened. And
do you feel that weakens you to say it like that? Why do you feel it's important that you know the reasons why you're saying no?
I find for me, it's important because I can recognize it and understand why I'm feeling that way. So for me, it's a big thing because I can go, well, actually, and there's layers to it. And it's me understanding the layers and how that contributes towards my feelings and emotions. So everyone's going to have it's not, when you say no, there's so much more to that no. So for me, it's understanding I've said no and I know why I've said no, but I understand the layers that go with that no, because then I understand myself better and knowing how to cope and how I'm feeling, and to really kind of go, right, I now understand myself better. Well, previously, I think I would just kind of, I don't want to deal with it because I don't know how to deal with it.
So you're now overwhelmed, you don't know why it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm more kind of like, right, I'm understanding myself better, and I feel more confident in myself of then saying no more because I'm understanding the reasons behind no and advocating for myself of no, I feel like that because of that. That's why I'm saying no.
And it's rational to you and it makes sense to you, and that's all that matters, really.
So that's for me. What about yourself?
So for me, I think I can remember being quite young and being told you must do your best. So, you know, doing an exam, it's like, oh, just do your best. You know, if you do your best, everything will be fine. And I interpreted that literally as I had to perform at 100% the best I could ever do every single time. So like to a car, say a car has got a maximum speed of 150 miles an hour. I took that to mean I had to perform at 150 miles an hour. As I've realised how I've got older and how that's thinking about spoon theory and how much energy you've got. Some days your battery might only be 10%. And if you are performing at 10%, then you are performing at 100%.
Yes.
You're performing at 100% of what you have on that day.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm much kinder to myself. I'm like, you did enough of what you could do on that day with with the tools that you had and with the support that you needed on that day. And that's absolutely fine. But I think that's a case of being very literal and having a huge amount of pressure on myself and thinking, but I can't get A's in everything, so therefore I failed. But actually, it means you do your best, as in with what you've got.
And every day is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single day is different.
Yeah.
So
our needs are different on the different days. And our energy levels are different days. Yeah. And it's just being much more mindful of what you might need. I said earlier, if I know there's a big event happening, I want to go to, I can mitigate that by having a day off work the next day. And there's no shame in that.
No.
Because I need
you need that.
If I want to go to the event and also something else has to give, Yeah. So that will be mine.
That's really important, kind of recognising yourself.
Yeah.
That is really, really important.
We might have hidden it and we've pushed it down. And
and this is what I was saying earlier, like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it because I don't know how. I don't have the tools to understand what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling, what do I do with it? But now I'm getting better. So I'm not there yet, but I'm better than I was.
Yeah.
So there's so much more information out there about managing different things. And that would definitely help me. Well, helped us a bit. So, thank you for joining us. Hope you've had a good, whatever it is, Christmas, New Year, whatever. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.